Previewing the upcoming two-match test series played between Pakistan and the West Indies in Jamaica with my guest Osman Rehman Khan from London, UK on this volume of
CRIQAZI Diaries.
Have a look at that, smiles up, oh, it's nearly taken someone out the stands. That was a flat six right under the stand there, the George Giffen stand, up into the members, and it went like a rocket. Well, we get to 24.
Haji Osman, welcome to the show. How are you doing, brother?
Thank you, man. I'm well. Yeah, not bad. Still recovering from that ODI loss against England, but otherwise all good.
Chalo, that's good to know. Acha, in this first segment, Osman, I want to talk to you about what Pakistan's chances are in this two-match test series versus the West Indies. Hot and cold type record hai hamara in the West Indies, but we did manage to win our first test series in the West Indies in 2017, the Miss You Farewell Tour and Misbah's last tour as captain. So we have those good memories, and plus man for man, pound for pound, Pakistan do have a better team than the West Indies. Pakistan are, of course, high on confidence from their test series win at home versus South Africa, and West Indies just got mutilated by South Africa, honestly. They failed to score once, like their highest score was 165 in 4 innings against the test series against them. So confidence with the Pakistan upar hai, and then we have won the previous series 2-1. So how do you feel going into this series? How do you think Pakistan fare?
I am very positive, actually. As you said, I think Pakistan in test at home, they've had a good record. They've beaten West Indies in 2017. And even the time prior to that, when we visited West Indies, there was a draw. But actually, the match we lost was a very close one. If you look at the team sheets, then I think Pakistan has a very strong team from bowling to batting. I think it's looking good. I think that our test team is actually better than our limited overs teams anyway. And then West Indies, you're right. I think they're under pressure. The coach has already sounded alarm. It's not looking too good for them. And they might be missing 1 or 2 key players as well. The pressure will be on the key man, who is the only one who scored against South Africa, Roston Chase. So yeah, overall feeling very positive.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And Phil Simmons, the West Indies coach, of course, said that his team are not prepared up to the mark, and that he did term them as underdogs. And West Indies ka jo aap masla dekhte ho na, bowling mein to phir bhi their seamers are competitive and they can cause you troubles. They've got like Jason Holder, Kemar Roach, both of them experienced. Alzari Joseph now has come up the ranks and he's also performed with the bat. Or phir Jaden Seals is another young seamer jo up in the ranks aa raha hai aista aista. So I think fast bowling stocks wise the West Indies theek hai, but batting is a real area of concern. They're lacking that one world-class batsman jista Pakistan pa Babar Azam hai, or to a certain extent Azhar Ali hai. I don't think West Indies have the same type of pedigree in their batting lineup, and they're definitely going to be missing Darren Bravo, who was the cornerstone of that batting lineup.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, as I said, I think the pressure will be on the middle order player, Roston Chase, because he's the only one who scored against South Africa. And I mean, looking at the pitch, I do think there's something for our fast bowlers as well. So their batsmen will have their work cut out for themselves. And yes, I mean, if you start chipping away on the wickets early on, the pressure will increase on the middle order because they already are feeling under pressure. I think that it'll be a proper test for them.
Yeah, I think that's where the series will be decided, Pakistan's bowling versus their batting. And it's a really good point you bring up, K. The Jamaica pitch in general has a little bit of spice for the bowlers as well. Thodi carry milti hai. Of course, the last time Pakistan played over here in 2017, they won. And Mohammad Amir got a 6-for in the first innings as well. So fast bowlers ke liye bhi kuch hai yahan pe, but generally, as we've seen over the years, the pitches in the West Indies have gotten a lot slower, or turn kafi aata rehta hai pitch pe as the game wears on. So I think Pakistan have Noman Ali and of course Yasir Shah, who was really successful in the West Indies last time.
I really hope he's recovered fully, 100%. I really want to see him in action. I mean, Noman Ali did well in Zimbabwe, I think, but if Yasir's back, that'll be awesome. And you know, as the play goes on in the latter few days or so, he could be quite destructive. And yes, it's interesting. In the fast, the fast options that we have are quite good. So Shaheen and Hassan are strong, but then now that they have Dahani and Rauf, I mean, I don't see them as test players yet, but I mean, it'd be interesting to see if they actually get a chance and what they can bring to this format.
I doubt they'll get a chance because Pakistan mar ke to hum 6 test khelte hain saal ke, and finally I think after 2017 Misbah Yunus wale era ke baad ab jaakar you see like a stable test 11 finally where you know who your main players are, और मतलब काफी अब कुछ टेस्ट मैचेस से साथ ही खेल रहे हैं और 4 test matches on the go, ये जीत भी गए हैं. So I don't see them tinkering too much. So I doubt Dhani or Rauf will get a chance. But
I think that's a fair point. Yeah.
But Yasir Shah,
this is a Test Championship match as well. So you can't really mess around.
Yeah, Yasir Shah, jo hai, of course, we haven't seen the best of him since quite a while now. So all eyes will be on him, definitely, especially in conditions that favor him. But also, you brought up the World Test Championship. So I just want to bring this to your attention. पाकिस्तान के लिए जरा relatively easier run as Test Championship में, so they'll really want to win this because the 6 tours that we have in World Test Championship 23 is away tours against West Indies, Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, and home series against Australia, New Zealand and England. So Pakistan will really want to win their away test series, and this is the first of them. So World Test Championship में definitely Babar Azam will be looking to start on a positive note.
Yeah, I mean they could not have asked for better fixtures over the next 2 years. And you're right. I think going back to the point, they probably want to take the A team. No point in experimenting. This is not the T20 format. And they have a solid chance. They have the momentum with them. The pitch will give them something. The other side's under pressure. Our recent series against them have all been pretty good. T20 win should give them some positive momentum as well. Albeit, I mean, 4 matches washed out is not ideal, but still, they played well. So yeah, overall, I'm going back to the first thing that I said. I'm feeling fairly positive, and I hope that this will make up for the debacle in England where we were quite humiliated. I was good.
I mean, I agree that I'm also really feeling positive about this, especially because हम पिछली वाली series भी जीते में हैं. Test 11 looks stable, and again, man for man, we're a better team. But of course, away conditions, कुछ पता नहीं होता. हमें उनके fast bowlers लड़ जाएं. A batting collapse is always around the corner with Pakistan cricket.
Of course.
But that said, I think this team is definitely more experienced, and that counts for something in Test cricket. And generally, when you think of away tours, so West Indies those surfaces don't trouble our batsmen as much. They're more closer to home over there. So I think that definitely plays into Pakistan's hands, and I do see them as favorites for the series, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with every single word you just said there.
Acha Osman, just before I end this segment, I want to talk about West Indies का जो captaincy change हुआ है. I think Jason Holder did a really good job as a young captain in that West Indian team, and he led from the front. He was one of the best all-rounders in recent memory in Test cricket. So Craig Brathwaite को जो उन्होंने captain बनाया है, I think this it wasn't a smart move in my opinion, and this could hurt them.
Yeah, I don't get the logic behind that. I mean, correct, he's their opener, and he did not perform at all against South Africa. So I'm struggling to see the rationale for that. And Jason Holder, you're right. He's one of the new stable players in that side. He's good. He has the qualities of being, he has age on his side as well.
And height.
So yeah, and height, like as West Indian players generally.
Yeah, or generally, है तो unpredictable side, मगर Test cricket में you can never truly write them off, can you? They beat England at home. फिर तुम्हें याद होगा, not too long ago, they had this legendary tour of Bangladesh. बहुत मुश्किल होता है बांग्लादेश को बांग्लादेश में हराना, and they, with the second string team, managed to convincingly beat them in their backyard. So I think they will go back to those memories and try to channel that same energy in this Test series.
And Jason Holder did play a role over there. I mean, and you're right. I mean, Bangladesh, given what happened in Australia just a few days ago, it's not easy touring them.
Turning conditions में वो भी, which is not too dissimilar from what we're expected to see in Jamaica. So I think West Indies, I'm not going to completely write them off. They definitely have the element to surprise Pakistan and maybe win a test or two, maybe. But definitely Pakistan को मैं favor करूँगा. Like, I think they're definite favorites over here.
Yeah, for sure. There are some variables here, right? Like overall, I think it's quite in favor of Pakistan.
Okay, Osman, so in this segment, I want to focus on the Pakistan 11. Who do we expect will play? Who do we think should play? And let's start with the openers, of course. So Pakistan have काफी consistent run दिया हुआ है Imran Butt और Abid Ali को. They haven't particularly performed. Zimbabwe के खिलाफ थोड़ा perform कर लिया था, but I haven't been too impressed with that pair, especially Imran Butt. I don't think he has quite the ability to cut it out at Test level. But of course, I think Pakistan will definitely open with them. But if it were up to me, I would open with Azhar Ali and Abid Ali, and I would slot in Saud Shakil in the middle order.
Fair point. I mean, I do like the fact that Azhar Ali could open, but I do think that these two have the potential to be very good. Abid Ali, I mean, albeit they performed against Zimbabwe, but Abid Ali played a stunning few innings against them, like double century is no joke against anything. I think he's good. He has technique. Even in England, if I recall, he did play a few good innings there.
I think he got a 50, yeah.
Yeah, so he has it in him. Imran Butt, I think for Imran Butt, the point to highlight is that in the domestic circuit, he's actually done well, and that's what really got people's attention. Obviously, with Pakistani players as it is, like domestic performances don't really match up with the international performances, as is the example with Asif, etc. But I think given his performance in Zimbabwe, his domestic performance, I think he definitely deserves a chance, at least a couple of chances.
I think this is his last chance. अभी अगर इस सीरीज में नहीं परफॉर्म किया ना इमरान भट्ट ने अच्छा, तो I think उसके बाद शायद उसको फेवर ना करे, because again Pakistan don't play very many tests these days. But they have. So
you're saying replace him with Azhar and then
and then have Saud Shakil in the middle order, because Saud I've been really impressed with. And Saud's numbers in first class cricket are even more phenomenal. Like Abid Ali Imran Butt ka to ek to अच्छा season gaye hain. Saud Shakil has performed season after season, so I really want to see him. Plus वो आपको एक spin bowling option भी दे देता है. But खैर खेलेंगे तो
he's the only one who actually held his cool when we collapsed against England, albeit in a different format, but still.
But खैर खेलेंगे तो Imran Butt और Abid Ali, and then of course one down or number 4 पे you've got your experienced batsmen in Azhar Ali and Babar Azam. I don't see any changes there. I think
no one can argue with that.
I think the onus is on them to perform. क्योंकि काफी देर से फवाद आलम और lower order Rizwan और tail enders runs कर रहे हैं. It's time that Azhar and Babar win Pakistan a game.
I think they could. I mean, they're strong. They might not have had a few good games, but Azhar was very important in England last year, and I think he's solid, so it makes sense. And Babar Azam, yes, I mean, I'm hopeful he will perform. He's only improved over time. I think we'll see him getting better as well.
Yeah. Plus, don't forget that Azhar Ali ki jo triple century, it was against the West Indies. So that's a key little fun fact over there.
Yeah, I personally am a big fan of him as a test player. I mean, some people have, when he hasn't performed, people have questioned his spot in the team. Especially in England when initially he didn't perform. Eventually he did, and then he saved us a test. And then people all praise for him. But I think he's a solid test player and probably the most experienced batsman we have right now.
He does have a lot of experience, and ठीक है बीच में काफी fail हुआ था, consistently fail हुआ था, and I would agree उतना fail हुआ था कि you could have dropped him over there, but then he was persistent with, and then he did perform. So yeah, I'm expecting big things from Azhar this series. I'm expecting a statement sort of series from him, and then of course Babar is Babar, so let's hope he inflates that test average as well. Number 5 and number 6, I think यहाँ पे तो कोई debate ही नहीं है. Fawad Alam and Mohammad Rizwan.
100%. And I mean, look, Fawad Alam's just proven himself. The guy has patience. The guy has stuck it out despite everything.
वैसे कितनी मुश्किल चीज है ना? Yeah. Such a long domestic career, an average well over 55. इतनी consistently runs करके दिए. I think Fawad Alam should have been a shoe-in in the test team as soon as Misbah Yunus retired. वो तो कुछ उसके साल बेचारे के खा लिए हैं through bad selection. But look, he's persevered. He's done the hard yards. और अब वो जब आया ना, he's really making his opportunity count. Pretty much हर series में उसने आपको 100 कर दिए जब से वापस आया वो.
No, absolutely. I mean, Pakistan they dominated, and I think in the recent test series he played, he's up for it. Everyone's all praise for him right now. So I think he'll really do well.
And I think the conditions will suit him in West Indies as well. और फिर Rizwan तो obviously उसका जो purple patch है खत्म ही नहीं हो रहा. Rizwan is on some he's on steroids. But yeah, I expect
the guy is intense. He's brave. Does not come under pressure like the rest.
He's fit. Such a quick runner between the wickets.
He's cut from a different cloth. I really like his presence in the team. It's very positive. It's very good for everyone else.
He plays the game in the right spirit. Or दूसरा वो बस he's such a fighter. You just love to watch Rizwan bat and keep and everything.
I think that's right. He is a fighter. The guy he's persevered. He's good. He's good to have. He's a warrior.
Yep. Number 7. I think this person has done really well for Pakistan off late in Test cricket. And I think Fahim Ashraf keeps his spot.
Yep, agreed. I mean, there have been questions raised in limited overs, but then again, you can't really translate that criticism across. I think he's a solid all-rounder. He gives you options. He can bat. He at a lower order, can bowl pretty well.
Yeah, and he's gotten very crucial runs for Pakistan in recent times. So I think you can't just bat a blind eye to that. So Fahim, to mere khayal se, no questions, definitely starts. Let's talk about the bowling attack now. I would go.
Yeah, this is interesting. Yeah.
I would go, even though thoda sa carry milega, it's not like the fast bowlers, there's nothing for them in the pitch. But considering that the pitch will wear and tear and will get slower and will start turning more with every passing day, I think Pakistan should go with two spinners in Noman Ali and Yasir Shah. And then, of course, fast bowlers mein to Shaheen and Hassan have been the consistent performance. Specifically, Hassan Ali, even like against South Africa, against Zimbabwe, he's been been bowling on another planet, honestly. Itni achhi performance hai uski. And then he's also had phenomenal performances in the Quaid-e-Azam Trophy with both bat and ball. So I think Yasir, Noman, Shaheen, Hassan. और इसके अंदर आपका सिर्फ एक Shaheen है जो tail ender है, because Noman also bats, Yasir also bats, and Hassan Ali is our new Afridi.
Yeah, I agree. Hassan Ali, I mean, he went out of the game for a while and he's come back with a bang. You're right. Yeah. The guy's been on an upward. He's on a different planet. You're right. So he definitely makes the cut. Afridi obviously makes the cut. He's our staple main fast bowler now, go-to bowler. It's an interesting point you make about Noman Ali. I did not consider his batting abilities. So initially I went with 3 pacers and Yasir. And I was thinking of playing Mohammad Abbas as well. I mean, it's a questionable choice potentially, but I think he's a solid test bowler. Albeit England seems to be his favorite pitch where he bowls well. He can seam. I think this pitch could offer him something as well. So I was going to put Yasir in and Mohammad Abbas. So not Noman Ali.
Fair enough. I mean, it's a career of 2 halves with Mohammad Abbas. Pehle aap uske first half of the career dekho to his numbers it's off the record. Like बहुत ही कमाल performance, a bowling average under 20, but then that really slipped in the latter part of his career. So it would be interesting to see कि उसका comeback कैसा होता है अगर होता है. But I think Pakistan will persist with 2 spinners. I really feel like they'll play Noman and Yasir, and it's a good. They complement each other well. एक आपके पास attacking leg spinner है और दूसरी तरफ आपके पास एक left arm off spinner है who chokes the batsman. So I think उन दोनों का जो pair है वो चल सकता है पाकिस्तान के लिए.
And in the event that actually Yasir is not fit to play, which is a possibility, then he's out. Then who do you think they should play? I mean,
then I think they will have to go with a pacer, probably Abbas, maybe Naseem. I'm not sure. I don't want to give Dhani or Rauf an opportunity in Test cricket just yet, even though selectors have favored them. But I think Yasir will make the cut. Yasir has been inching to get on the field because Zimbabwe wali series mein wo tha nahi. So I think
and if the number of training images on Twitter to go by, then you could tell that he's probably going to be in. Everyone's getting super excited by him.
Plus you have Fahim Ashraf for support, right? बहुत देर तक तो पाकिस्तान की टेस्ट टीम का ये मसला था कि 7 बैट्समैन थे और सिर्फ 4 बॉलर होते थे. So now you've got the 5th bowler. Fahim can pitch in wherever need be, and I think that's a pretty balanced attack.
It's a very good attack, I mean, in my view. I mean, all those players that we've talked about, personally, they all are very solid and can make a test team. It's just about picking relatively the better team. So yeah, I think I'm feeling good about this. I mean, having Hassan and Afridi complemented by the rest. So yeah, let's see.
Agreed. Chalo, let's move on to West Indies' potential lineup. Acha Osman, first up, the openers. Now, of course, you have the captain of the team, Craig Brathwaite. So wo to khelega hi khelega, and I think he should play. When it comes to West Indian openers, he's the only one who's been somewhat consistent. और 7 आपके पास 3 options हैं. You could go with Kieran Powell, Shamar Brooks, or you could go with Shai Hope, who doesn't actually open in Test cricket and has like a 25 average only in Test cricket. But one days के अंदर he opens for West Indies and has an average of around 53. So I think I'm going to take a curveball over here, and I personally would open with Shai Hope and Craig Brathwaite. But I think West Indies will probably opt for one of Kieran Powell or Shamar Brooks.
I mean, Shamar Brooks has recently made it to the team. He's definitely fought his way up. But I think that obviously, right, Craig Brathwaite will play. He's the captain now, so clearly that's 100% really much. And then I think Kieran Powell will probably open with him. Both of them opened against South Africa, and both were not that good. They're quite miserable. But again, I mean, that series behind us. These guys are in the squad. Once become a captain, so I do think they won't shake it up too much, and they'll probably open with them. Shai, I hope you're right, will play, but again, going by the previous test matches in the previous strategies, I think they'll keep him one down.
Interesting. I would open with Shea Hope and then hit 3, 4, 5, and 6. I would go for like a flurry of all-rounders and lower order batsmen. So all-rounders,
Okay,
I'll go with Nkrumah Bonner and Kyle Mayers. Both of these players made a mark in that Bangladesh series. They were the heroes for the West Indies. So I think unko saath persist karna chahiye and they should get the opportunity. I'm pretty positive they will play. Then of course at 5, I would go with Roston Chase. No one can ever forget that. No one can ever forget that century in the 4th innings that Roston Chase scored the last time Pakistan toured. Almost saved that game for the West Indies. That was Shannon Gabriel out ho gaya on the 7th last delivery of the game. Yasir Shah's last ball of the game, and Roston Chase takriban baja gaya tha. And then he had a really...
feeling of relief is unparalleled. I mean, I don't know how we pulled it off, but usually we don't pull it off in those situations. But when they did, I was just like, wow. So yeah, Roston Chase will... I mean, there's no doubt that he'll be there. And I think all eyes will be on him. He's the one who actually semi-performed against South Africa when everyone else...
And he's a really good test cricketer, man. He has his right arm off break as well. He really knows how to stick it out. You know, he can graft an innings or wo aapko match baja kar de sakta hai, especially in these conditions. So yeah, Roston Chase, I think, is the X factor. He'll be the guy Pakistan will be looking to get out, especially in the absence of Darren Bravo. So yeah, I'll go with Bonner, Kyle Mayers, Roston Chase, and then of course Jermaine Blackwood at 6, who is the vice captain, and then we've all seen him perform in England as well. But mere khayal se shayad
and he performed against South Africa as well, so I think he's definitely key.
So mere khayal se West Indies jo hai na, wo shayad Mayers or Bonner mein se ek ko na khilaye, Hope ko khila le. But that's my 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, it's a shame they're missing Bravo. I mean, maybe I missed it, but they're just resting him just for...
I feel like that's the case.
Yeah, that's a shame. He would have been a good option. So yeah,
he's also been successful against Pakistan in the past, especially in the UAE. Bravo to kafi successful raha hai. But yeah, he's a big miss for West Indies ki to, as we know, batting kafi halki hai. That is a major area of concern, and that's why even after Jermaine Blackwood, you have Joshua De Silva at 7 as a keeper, who's shown a lot of promise in his early career so far. I like him.
Yeah. I mean, I had him in my squad as well. A lower mid order. I think he's solid. He's a good keeper as well. From what I've seen, so he makes a cut for me.
Yeah, so that's quite a deep batting lineup then. 7 pe aapka Joshua De Silva aa raha hai, aur fir 8 pe to obviously Jason Holder aayega, who is no mug with the bat himself. So 8 tak to aapki ye batting hai, and I think West Indies, even though each individual batsman may be not as accomplished, but as a lineup, they won't be that easy to bowl out, will they?
No, not really. But they could be. I mean, again, I will look at the most recent example that I have against South Africa. I mean, South Africa, I would argue, is a team that's roughly around our level these days. They're not the same team that they used to be. Again, that's a very straightforward blanket opinion, but that's what I think. And so yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, South Africa still do have Anrik Nortje and Kagiso Rabada, but then Pakistan have Hassan Ali and Shaheen Afridi. So you make a valid point, and if the highest total that West Indies managed against South Africa was 165, so this is where they need to perform in order to compete in this series. Chalo, 8 pe Holder aa gaya. Then you've got 3 more bowling spots. I would go with Alzari Joseph. I think he's been in the system for a while now. Plus, he can also bat. Burani ho bilkul bhi bat ke saath. He's provided a lot of runs for the West Indies in the lower order. Yeah, and then Shannon Gabriel is a big miss. He's a seasoned professional for the West Indies. I mean, so uska na hona
really gonna miss him.
Yeah, I remember the Barbados test.
Afridi ko nikalne team se. I mean, then you're like, oh what? Hold on, you don't have your key cornerstone bowler.
Yeah, और जो एक टेस्ट मैच जीती थी West Indies versus Pakistan in Barbados in 2017, Shannon Gabriel played really well. But then of course you do have Kemar Roach. तो ऐसी बात नहीं है कोई आपके पास experienced pacers है नहीं. Roach, Alzari Joseph, and Holder. I think that trio, it can cause a lot of problems.
Supplemented with Raheem Cornwall. I mean,
the big man,
the spinner. Yeah, I was going to say Raheem Sterling, but.
Acha, is that the person you would go with at number 11? Because Raheem Cornwall also can bat.
No. I was gonna in my squad. I had him like around the 8-ish mark, 8, 9. I think he comes above the Pacers. Now. You think Alzari Joseph should be in there, which makes sense. And the fact that he can bat is definitely where he, makes his case. But I think that given that Jamar Holder was another person who's made the team recently, the squad, it could be that he's a reserve, but I think he's really made his case. He could potentially bowl for them. I could put him as number 10 or 11 potentially, but yeah, I think he might lose out to Alzarri Joseph.
Yeah, he could. Also, Jaden Seals is in the ranks as well. 19-year-old pacer. He's done well, obviously, domestically for the West Indies, and his name is up and coming. So, ho sakta hai wo usko khila dein Alzarri ki jagah. I'm not quite sure, but I would go with Holder, Alzarri, and then Kemar Roach. And then the last number 11 in this team, you have an option between two spinners. Ek aake par Rakeem Cornwall, the big man, knows how to bat as well, has been fairly successful against Bangladesh, but he's another right arm off-break bowler, and you already have that in Roston Chase. Then Nkrumah Bonner, if he plays, bowls a little leg spin. So I think Jomel Warrican, the other spinner in the West Indies lineup, he's a slow left arm off spinner. I think variety ke liye na, West Indies should go with him, but I'm not sure they will. They probably will end up going with Cornwall.
And how has he been recently? Because he wasn't against South Africa. They didn't play him against South Africa.
I'm not quite sure, but Jomel Warrican and Rakeem Cornwall have pretty much played the same amount of Test cricket. Koi ek 8 khela hai, to ek 10 khela hai. Average about the same as well. The only reason I went with him at number 11 is because it adds variety. Aapka zara varied attack ho jata hai, and you will need a frontline spinner in these conditions. So that's who I went with.
It's critical. Okay, I mean, I was looking at Cornwall to fill that role for them, but I think that's a good point to raise with the fact that
Acha, agar Cornwall khel leta hai, and if they go with Alzarri Joseph, Rakeem Cornwall, Jason Holder, and then Kemar Roach ही एक proper tail ender है उसके अंदर, वो भी अच्छी defense कर लेता है. So that's a very long day.
Yeah, Jason Holder, yeah, that's true. I mean, there's no one player that is super terrorizing, I think. In the whole batting order, maybe Ross and Chase, but they can bat. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, Osman, for the final segment, I just want to take your pre-series prediction for the 2-match Test series. I think Pakistan are on a high after that win, after those consecutive wins against South Africa. 2-0 वहाँ जीते हम घर पे. Then we won 2-0 in Zimbabwe. अब फिर से 2 Test matches आ रहे हैं. Pakistan are definitely the better team on paper. They've won here 4 years ago. There were a few players in that team which are still in this team. काफी ज़्यादा हैं ऐसे players. Hassan Ali also featured in that series, and he got reverse swing too, if you remember. So I think Pakistan have got this in the bag. If rain permits, I think 2-0 Pakistan.
Absolutely. 2-0 to Pakistan for me. I mean, I've been optimistic. I was quite bullish about them sweeping the T20 series as well. We did win. It was a bit anticlimactic with the rain. But anyway, again, different format, but I think the momentum's with them, and they've beaten this side in a different format. Test series, you're right.
Yeah. I've been really... complete your thought. Nani, go for it.
Apart from that loss against New Zealand recently, where for some reason we never do well in Australia and New Zealand, but apart from that, I think they've done decent over the last couple of years. I mean, even when we played England last year, we lost the series, but you know what? Those matches were close. And to be fair, we could have won that series.
We really could have won that series, man. Wo to aaj
really, I will... That match in Old Trafford will haunt me for a while.
Butler and Chris Wokes, totally stole it from us. But yeah, I agree. Pakistan, देखो, वैसे तो away tours पे they haven't had much success in a long time. But these are familiar conditions. इस तरह की conditions नहीं है ये जो जाके आप like clueless हो जाओगे. So I think Pakistan will be the better team across 2 Test matches. So I'm going to go with 2-0. And of course, let's just hope the weather isn't too bad, because rain has totally played spoil sport in so many of our games of it.
Yeah, it's such a shame. But I think 2-0, and Misbah has a point to prove as well, with the criticism mounting in the other formats.
Yeah. Plus, वही बात है, World Test Championship का नया start है. Pakistan should really be eyeing that final this time, given their fixtures. And I think Babar Azam is growing up to be a very good captain, at least in Test cricket. अभी तक तो मैं काफी impressed हूँ. Say limited overs में I have some criticism, but Test cricket I've been really, really impressed with him.
Yeah, he's the leader for this team, who's going to take us through to the finals in 23 if we are to make those finals. Solid player. Everyone agrees that he's in that class with Kohli, Williamson, etc. Right? So yeah, very optimistic. Looking forward to this series.
Likewise. Let's see what happens. That's a wrap for volume 21, folks. Thank you so much, Osman, for making it to the show. Of course, everyone, if you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell icon in order to be notified about my latest videos. Of course, if you agree or disagree with both Osman or myself, let us know in the comment section below. And if you have any questions that you want addressed in future episodes, do tweet them at DefMango using the hashtag AskCRIQAZI. That's all for now, guys. Kazi off the mic.
Have a look at that. Smiles up. Oh, it's nearly taken someone out of the stands. That was a flat six right under the stand there, the George Giffen stand, up into the members, and it went